The Bangladeshi newspaper Bullets recently carried the main contents of the Korean leader Kim Jong-il's famous work, Let Us Carry Out the Korean Leader copied Kim Il-sung's instructions for national reunification, and the left blog of the Austrian Trade Union Federation adopted a message of solidarity on the occasion of the 15th anniversary of the publication of his work. The Romanian newspaper Romania Muncitoare number 199 carried the gist of Kim Jong-il's famous work, The Historical Lesson in Building Socialism and the General Line of our Party. The Mexican Committee for the Study of Kim Il-sungism was renamed the Mexican Committee for the Study of Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism. The renaming ceremony was held in Mexico City on the 13th. Present there were personages of the Mexican National Coordination Committee for the Study of the Church Idea, the Mexican Committee for the Study of Kim Il-sungism, and the Mexican Institute of the Church Idea. Invited there were the DPRK Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary to Mexico and its embassy members. Speakers said Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism is the guiding idea for the victorious advance of the revolutionary cause of Juche and the cause of global independence. A letter to respected Kim Jong-un was adopted. Functions were held in Poland and Switzerland on the 10th and 11th to commemorate the 52nd anniversary of the start of the great leader Kim Jong-il's Sungun-based revolutionary leadership and the 67th anniversary of Korea's liberation. Displayed in the venues of the functions were photos showing the revolutionary activities of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un. Also exhibited there were famous works of President Kim Il-sung and respected Kim Jong-il, and books on their revolutionary exploits, and DPRK documentaries were projected. Messages of greetings to respected Kim Jong-un were adopted at the functions. The 67th anniversary of Korea's liberation was observed in foreign countries. Gatherings, lecture meetings, book and photo exhibitions and reading sessions recently took place at the Russian Association for Friendship and Cultural Cooperation with the DPRK, the Democratic Congolese Kim Jong-il Group for the Study of Juche Idea, the Indian Committee for the Study of Juche Philosophy, and the Ministry of National Defense Hospital, and the Kiko Press Group of Guinea. Put on display at the venues of the functions were famous works of the fatherly leader Kim Il-sung and respected Kim Jong-il, books on their immortal exploits, and photos introducing the DPRK. Speakers said, thanks to the wise leadership of great Kim Il-sung, the Korean people could defeat Japanese imperialism armed to the teeth and achieve national liberation and build a powerful socialist country with political independence, economic self-sufficiency, and self-reliant defense. They stressed that his exploits for national liberation will shine forever. The gathering held in Russia adopted a congratulatory message to respected Kim Jong-un. Mass media of India and Cambodia recently featured the 67th anniversary of Korea's liberation. Printing a beaming portrait of the great leader President Kim Il-sung, the Indian newspaper Indian and World Event devoted a whole page to the articles on his exploits for Korea's liberation under the titles Benefactor of Liberation and Legendary Guerrilla. The Cambodian Akape news agency and state radio also praised the great leader Kim Il-sung for his exploits in the historic cause of national liberation. Meanwhile, the Peruvian Group for the Study of Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism issued a special issue of bulletin titled General Kim Il-sung, the Anti-Japanese Legendary Hero on the 14th on the occasion of the 67th anniversary of the liberation of Korea. The British Association for the Study of Sungun Politics and the British Group for the Study of the Juche Idea recently made public a joint statement on the occasion of the 67th anniversary of Korea's liberation. The statement highly praised the exploits of the great leader President Kim Il-sung for national liberation. The British chapter of the Korean Friendship Association issued a statement on the 13th referring to Korea's liberation and its historical significance. Participants in the International Scientific Symposium of Kim Il-sung University laid a floral basket before the bronze statues of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il on Mansu Hill on the 21st and paid homage to them. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Italian General Investment Group laid a floral basket before their bronze statues on the same day. Isalla Teleni, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Fiji to the DPRK, presented his credentials to Kim Yong-nam, President of the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK, at the Mansudae Assembly Hall in Pyongyang on the 21st. Kim Yong-nam had a talk with the ambassador.
Torch relay runners of the East Coast who departed Mount Pekto in the run-up to the Youth Day passed through Hamhung on the 21st. The torch relay runners of the young vanguards of South Hamgyong Province took over the torch from those of North Hamgyong Province on the top of the Matsun Pass in Tancheon City on the 18th. They laid a floral basket and flowers before the bronze statue of President Kim Il-sung in Pukchong County, held a congratulatory meeting and campfire meeting, and visited different institutions. Arriving in the industrial city Hamhung, they placed floral baskets and bouquets before the bronze statues of the great leader President Kim Il-sung in Hungnam District and on Mount Tonghung. After looking around different institutions in Hamhung City, they continued to run through Kumya and Kowon counties. The International Scientific Symposium of Kim Il-sung University opened on the 21st. Present at the opening ceremony were Vice Premier Kim Yong-jin, officials concerned, and officials, teachers, and researchers of Kim Il-sung University. Also on hand were officials, teachers, and researchers of universities from Germany, China, Poland, and other countries, and delegate of the Korea University of the General Association of Korean Residents in Japan. Invited there were staff members of foreign embassies in Korea. The speakers at the opening ceremony expressed the belief that the International Scientific Symposium would be an occasion to deepen the ties of mutual friendship and strengthen the exchanges and cooperation. The participants looked around the photographs showing the proud history of Kim Il-sung University. Panel discussions of the symposium were held at Kim Il-sung University on the same day. The symposium continues. Kim Il-sung University gave a reception in Ongyu Restaurant of Pyongyang on the 21st in honor of the participants in the symposium. Recovery of flood damages is in rapid progress in Kaesong City of Korea. Officials of different institutions, including the City People's Committee and working people in the city, are restoring the destroyed dwelling houses and repairing roads, bridges, railroads, and river embankments. Detailed measures are also taken in the city to prevent another possible flood damages. Giancarlo Elia Valori, chairman of the Italian General Investment Group, flew in Pyongyang on the 21st. The Central Committee of the Buddhist Federation of Korea and the South Korean Council for Retaking Cultural Assets issued a joint statement on the 22nd, marking the 102nd anniversary of the fabrication of the brigandish Korea-Japan Annexation Treaty by the Japanese imperialists, denouncing the South Korean trader Lee Myung-bak and his group for their moves to conclude the General Security of Military Information Agreement with the Japanese reactionaries. The statement criticized that the moves to conclude the treacherous agreement between South Korea and Japan are an anti-reunification act of defining the fellow countrymen as enemy and seeking perpetual division of the nation. Far from making an apology and compensation for the past crimes it committed against the Korean nation, Japan gets more undisguised in its moves to distort history and seize dog eyelids, so as to realize its ambition for reinvasion. Not resting content with it, Japan attempts to conclude the military agreement with South Korea. Due to the political and military nexus with Japan, which has been unprecedentedly intensified after the appearance of the Lee Myung-bak regime, today Japan's moves for military power and militarist reinvasion get more undisguised, and the moves to fabricate the tripartite military alliance of the United States, Japan and South Korea are at the dangerous stage. The Buddhists in the north and the south will actively turn out in the practical action to resolutely oppose and foil the military nexus of the Lee Myung-bak traitorous group and the Japanese reactionaries, the statement stressed. The Japanese reactionaries not still admit their past crimes but persist in distortion of history and reinvasion. The Korea-Japan Annexation Treaty is a faked document which was not ratified by the Korean Emperor. The Japanese imperialists fabricated the treaty on August 22, 1910, and made it public on the 29th, a week later, afraid of the Korean people's resistance. Sun Zong, in his will, disclosed the tremendous crimes of Japan, saying, "The ratification of the Korea-Japan annexation was not my doing. It was cooked up by Japan in league with a group of traitors, including Lee Wan-yong. Japan confined and intimidated me in the time of treaty signing." The South Korean puppet war hawks are frantically staging the Ulchi exercise in all parts of South Korea from the 20th within the framework of the Ulchi Freedom Guardian joint military exercises. Involved in the exercise to last until the 23rd are not only the South Korean puppet army but also more than 410,000 civilians of over 3,500 major administrative institutions and organizations. It was also announced that military exercises would be staged on 5 islands on the West Sea of Korea, the biggest hotspot, and their neighboring areas. South Korean Gangwon province, which started the first-day military exercise with an emergency call of civil servants, frantically conducted a basic exercise to cope with somebody's provocation of local war. On the 21st, fire control exercise of the army and police was staged in Seoul, an exercise of a quick supply of arms to units by munitions companies in Busan. Also going on are an intensive inspection of readiness and responsibility in case of crisis in the Korean peninsula and an exercise to cope with electronic warfare. The Chinese Xinhua News Agency on the 20th carried an article urging the United States and the South Korean puppet traders to stop all provocations disturbing peace and stability of the Korean peninsula. The news agency said the Ulchi Freedom Guardian joint military exercises of the United States and South Korea are destroying peace and stability of the region and further worsening the situation of the Korean peninsula. It demanded the United States and South Korea put an end to all moves which may disturb peace and stability of the region and irritate the DPRK.